Well, guys, today's the day. It's finally here. I just got back from the bookstore and I picked up my copy of Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline. I can't even begin to tell you how much I'm looking forward to this book. I can only imagine the fans who have been waiting for this since Ready Player 1 came out back in 2011. I mean, 9 years. I read Ready Player 1 back, like 2 weeks ago. So I'm a new fan. And I'm just hoping that this one is as good as the first one. So in this video, I literally know nothing about this book, what the plot is, any sort of detail about it at all. So what I wanted to do was read the plot on the channel to get my reaction of it, talk about it a little bit, and also offer some thoughts before I read it, to see where the book might be headed, just, speculation on my end on what kind of continuation this story could have. So the first thing that I want to mention is that I wonder if this book is going to have a villain at all. Because if you remember from Ready Player 1, Nolan Sorrento and the Sixers IOI wanted to make this game into basically like a corporate video game where they could sell ads to every player and make it into a for-profit game rather than the free simulation that all of the Gunters love it to be, including Wade Watts, Artemis, the whole clan. And I'm wondering if this book is going to have a villain at all, because if you do more of the same, if you have some kind of new company that wants to take over the Oasis again, that would make sense, I guess, within the context of the book. But maybe, hopefully there's something a little bit different for the reader, because you just don't want to, use the same ideas again. Is Ready Player 2 going to have challenges like the first book, where Wade Watts had to go through all of the, the challenges to get the keys, and then use the key to unlock the gate. And then once you unlock the gate, you go on the scoreboard and make your way closer to finding Halliday's Easter egg. Is there going to be another Easter egg that we don't know about? And with that, I'm hoping that it could be something like that. Again, I want to go back to the same, rehashing the same ideas. Hopefully this book doesn't suffer from "you should have left it alone" syndrome. We've been seeing it so much lately, where movies are being remade. Movies that probably shouldn't have gotten sequels are getting sequels, and the sequels aren't living up to the standard of the first movie. I'm really hoping that this isn't a disappointment, because Ready Player 1, if you had told me that it was going to be a single book, single one-shot book, and there was no plans to make any type of sequel at all, I would have been satisfied. I was satisfied at the end of Ready Player 1. I'm hoping, now in Ernest Cline's mind, I'm sure that it's, the story's good enough. Obviously, it's good enough for him to have written a story. But sometimes what authors or, movie directors think is a good idea to do doesn't necessarily mean what the fans think is a good idea to do. So as excited as I am to read this book, I'm just really hoping that it lives up to the standards of the first one and is not just something to get another book continuing the story, but it's actually of substance and is pleasing to the fans and is satisfying. So with that being said, another thought I had was how much time has passed between Ready Player 1 and Ready Player 2. James Halliday was the one in Ready Player 1 who wanted to give up his fortune to someone who was dedicated and loved the Oasis as much as he loves video games, and proved themselves worthy, so to speak. Is Wade Watts going to do something like that in this book, where he's taking control of the Oasis after the first book? Is it so far in the future to where he's also doing something like Halliday and wants to pass on the torch, so to speak? Did Wade Watts become some kind of programmer and is trying to I don't know, improve the Oasis. I wonder what Wade could be doing in this book that he couldn't already accomplish. His avatar became invincible at the end of Ready Player One. So it would be hard for him not to have a complete advantage over everybody else in whatever that might be. Would the book have more in-game politics? Whatever that might mean. And at the end of the first book, he made a pact with Artemis H. It was either Dido or Shoto. I don't remember at the moment. But they were going to, he was going to split the money that he earned with everybody, and they were going to make the world a better place. So I'm interested to know if some time has elapsed in this book, is the world a better place now that Wade Watts has got all this money and is trying to improve everyday life? Is he succeeding? Is he not succeeding? And what are the consequences of both of those? So those are all the thoughts that I had going into the book. And now let's read the inside jacket and see what the book is about. So it says, an unexpected quest, 2 worlds at stake. Are you ready? Days after winning Oasis founder James Halliday's contest, Wade Watts makes a discovery that changes everything. Hidden within Halliday's vaults, waiting for his heir to find, lies a technological advancement that will once again change the world and make the Oasis 1,000 times more wondrous and addictive than even Wade dreamed possible. With it comes a new riddle and a new quest, a last Easter egg from Halliday, hinting at a mysterious prize, and an unexpected, impossibly powerful, and dangerous new rival awaits, one who will kill millions to get what he wants. Wade's life and the future of the Oasis are again at stake, but this time the fate of humanity also hangs in the balance. Lovingly nostalgic and wildly original as only Ernest Cline could conceive it, Ready Player 2 takes us on another imaginative, fun, action-packed adventure through his beloved virtual universe and jolts us thrillingly into the future once again. All right, so there you have it. So it looks like there's another Easter egg similar to the first that, in their words, is a technological advancement that will once again change the world, make the Oasis 1,000 times more wondrous and addictive. I wonder what that could be. I wonder if the Oasis can leak into the real world somehow. Is it like a technology where it doesn't only become a simulation where you go into it, where some kind of technology or piece of equipment could influence the real world somehow. 1,000 times more wondrous and addictive. So it comes with a new riddle. I wonder if where could that riddle have come from, and how would no one have found it if this book takes place days after? To me, I don't think enough time has passed. Just off the bat. Maybe if it was a year or two after, where Wade's getting to his rhythm of being, trying to help the world. Days later, I don't know if I like that, because there's not enough time for that high of winning the contest and trying to help the world. That has not enough time has passed, in my opinion, so far. And how does a new riddle come about? Is it one of those things where maybe Halliday, once somebody wins the contest, it triggers another clue to get released to the world, like another video message? I don't know if I'm a fan of that just yet. Mainly because of the amount of time that has passed. Because the next paragraph says, an unexpected, impossibly powerful, and dangerous new rival awaits, one who will kill millions to get what he wants. So Nolan Sorrento in the first book was already okay with killing people to get what he wanted. He had no problem with that, as demonstrated by killing Wade's aunt and all the people in the stacks that he lived with. How can an impossibly powerful and dangerous new rival just be lurking somewhere in the dark without anyone knowing about it? Is he hidden in plain sight, maybe, as another powerful, rich tech company who on the surface seems like he's for the people, for the Oasis, but when everybody goes to bed, he pulls out all of his bad guy costumes, puts those on. And it also says here, but this time the fate of humanity also hangs in the balance. I feel like the fate of humanity was already in the balance in the first book. Because if IOI, most of the world ran through the Oasis. Schooling, real world currency. You could buy things in the game and have them delivered to your place in the real world. So, I forget what my train of thought is. Hold on, 1 second. Oh yeah, the fate of humanity also hangs in the balance. Wasn't it already hanging in the balance? Because if Sorrento had won the contest and made everything with ads, that would almost, I'm sure a lot of people would still play the Oasis, but it wouldn't be as enjoyable. And when you have a piece of technology like the Oasis that is so integral to everybody's lives in that book, I think the world was already at stake in the first one. Because if you start turning into something, if a lot of people turn away from the Oasis because there's so many ads and you have like commercials and things shoved down your throat all the time, it might start not being enjoyable. And Sorrento wanted to charge, let's say, like a monthly subscription. He wanted people to pay for the Oasis. A lot of the world, based on Ready Player One, was already in poverty, or at least in Wade's area, there was a lot of impoverished people. And you risk taking away that player base by charging them money that they might not be able to afford. And knowing Sorrento, it's probably not going to stay that price the entire time. Probably over some time, he might raise the price up, as regular life things do. You start off at a price and it ends up going up per month. So I'm wondering how different the world being at stake, how that could be any different than what it was already at stake. Was it because the guy said he's willing to kill millions of people? Is it some kind of weapon? Because if he's willing to kill millions of people, does he have a plan of killing a lot of people because it said there's some new type of tech within the Oasis, but like I mentioned before, if the Oasis can somehow, if it becomes so advanced that it influences the real world, I wonder if that ties in at all. So those are my initial thoughts. I can't wait to start reading this book. Hopefully it's as good as the first one. Initial thought is just maybe not enough time has passed between the first book and the second book. If more time had passed, I think it would leave open a lot more possibilities for things to go right, I guess, in Wade's favor. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. See you later.